Hey folks, I almost didn't make a video this morning. I said, well, heck, let me just go ahead and just get on here. It is cold here in Omaha. I got frozen pipes. Nothing new. Know how to handle it. Know the remedy already. Doing it. But it got cold last night. I think it was down to 7 degrees. It's 17 now. But it's still like, man, it's cold. Cheers. I am so glad that I did not hear from a whole lot of people getting butthurt about my opinion on Mr. Bob Dylan. Because people hear what they want to hear, and I didn't diss Bob Dylan. I was saying how it hits me. He doesn't need defending. You know what I mean? Bob Dylan don't need you to come over here and tell me he's the greatest of all time and all that stuff. And I didn't necessarily need anybody to come over here and pipe in, but that's your prerogative, and I'm not complaining. I'm glad that it wasn't more, you know what I'm saying? Because people really get offended easily, and it's tricky, but it's still kind of perplexing how much of a problem it is for humans to deal with other people's opinions, and yet we all have them, and there's no way that we can all think the same way. There's no way. I think it's weird. One of humankind's failings. So, but I thought about the video and the comments, and thought I would follow up and just show a little bit, because I like all kinds of music, but it's the music. And I know that Bob Dylan is revered for his words, and I get that. But man, that music is lame. So I thought I'd show some records that I have, just a few, because I have a bunch of music that can be considered either folk music or singer-songwriter. I didn't even pull everything that I was thinking I would pull to show this morning, to show that part of my collection. So what I did pull, and cheers, folks. Hope you're staying safe and warm. Yesterday when I went to the post office and mailed the Canadian records, CDs off, the CD orders off, I saw where the city was cleaning up this one spot where homeless had set up an encampment, had been there for months. It had grown from 1 to 3 huts, or their tents, but they had the stuff covered with anything they could find to help keep the heat in. Hope those people are okay. Hope they found a place to stay. It's heartbreaking. So, on to music. So when we talk about folk music, I am probably a little more inclined to the English and the Irish and foreign, which I completely forgot. I didn't completely forget, but I was going to grab some Clannad from Ireland. I like that stuff. I do. I don't listen to it a whole lot, but anyway, just some of the stuff I grabbed. Richard Thompson, Henry the Human Fly, helped to start the band Fairport Convention. I have Fairport Convention. I didn't grab them. This was his first album, solo album. When he speaks about it, he talks about how his singing is not quite together on this album. He's very young on this album. He was a teenager when he started the band Fairport. This is very good. Good songwriting with the music, and it has a lot of that jiggy sort of stuff and accordions and stuff. I like it. I like this even more though. John and Beverly Martin. Oh no, this is different. I was thinking of Richard and Linda Thompson. I have Richard and Linda Thompson too. I didn't grab. Is it? I want to see the bright lights tonight. And their story is interesting. I've watched a documentary about Richard Thompson and how they sang together even after they were like, it was over, and they were pretty much hating each other's guts. And there they are on stage singing songs about their that would be tough. That'd be tough. But actually, I've done it myself. I've played in band when I'm at odds with other members who I foolishly got involved with. But here we have John. Someone mentioned John Martin, and I love John Martin. I don't have a lot of his records. He was a handful with all his drinking and stuff, okay? But this is a fantastic album, and props to Beverly Martin, okay? I guess that's one thing I like about the pop world is the fact that the women are dominating everything, and it makes sense. The women are badass. But the combination of these people on here and the songs, again, it's the music as well as the songs, the writing and the singing. John the Baptist, Traffic Light Lady, Stormbringer, the title track. I love that stuff. And then I have this. I don't have Solid Air. That's the one that everyone talks about, and I've heard it. It is good, but I do have Inside Out. Pretty beat up copy, but yeah, he's iconoclastic. Is that the right word? Where he did exactly what he wanted with his musical muse. Get super drunk and perform, and who knows what would happen, but the guy is good. And I think he's still alive. Is John Martin still alive? Tim Buckley was mentioned. These are records I don't play like I used to, okay? I keep the collection for a number of reasons, but I don't play everything. None of you do either, right? But Tim Buckley, you got to know about Tim Buckley. Jeff Buckley's dad, yeah, and I like Jeff Buckley too. This was his most outside album, Lorca. Even kind of spooky. Blue Afternoon. Very intense man. It's no surprise that he died young. Quite a voice. Happy Sad. I didn't grab all of my Tim Buckley, but I just grabbed these. I know what I like. I like people who can sing. Bob Dylan cannot sing. Never could. Never could. And I don't like the choice of his musical settings. I don't like that music. I don't. What else did I grab? See, I like the English and the European tradition probably more so. And when we talk about folk music, probably African folk music and American Indian folk music. Yeah, I prefer that to like just straight country and bluegrass, although I like good picking, but it's being in Nebraska, it's too ubiquitous. I hear it when I don't want to hear it. Blondel, Amazing Blondel. Now here's an example of an English band where probably the history of this music being English probably would make a difference to my experience. I'm none of those things, and so I just get off on this music. Period. Blondel. This is some great music if you don't know this band. Amazing Blondel. Oh, here's some more Tim Buckley. They got mixed up. Probably my favorite Tim Buckley album, Goodbye and Hello. Or I should say probably my most listened to. And I've had this one the longest. I'll say it again for those that missed it. I respect Mr. Bob Dylan and recognize his artistry and his contribution to modern music. One more, Tim Buckley. I believe this is his first album. Let me see which version this is. This is that's an early pressing. Sure is. Much love and respect. But just like, I used to sing. I've made records where I sing. I don't want to sing. And a lot of the times I don't want to hear you sing. I want to hear the music. I love knowing that about Genesis when Peter Gabriel was in the band, that they would come up with stuff and then Peter would start writing lyrics and they'd say, "Why do you have to sing over this part? This music is so good. Just stay quiet." I understand that sentiment. I didn't grab my incredible string band, but related, and I like this even better. C.O.B., Clive's old band, Spirit of Love. This guy was one of the original members of Incredible String Band. If you haven't heard this stuff is excellent. Spirit of Love. This is what I'm talking about. This is the shit I'm talking about, okay? Moshi McStiff and the Tartan Lancers of the Sacred Heart. Killer's folk rock album. I love the cover too. So a part of the English European interest that I bias, you could even say that I have, over American goes back to the Beatles. The whole Beatles Ed Sullivan appearance. I was one of the kids whose life was changed by that. And it opened up a whole new world to me. In so many ways. Someone mentioned Roy Harper. I great respect for Roy Harper for two reasons. Because he dared to sing and say exactly what he thought, and he could really sing, and he could really play, and he always made sure the music was good, okay? This is an early album of his, Folk Joke Opus. I remember before I got this album, when I would go up to Minneapolis, there was a record store up there called Folk Joke Opus, an amazing record store. I'd gone broke up there in that store. I still have records I found there I've never found anywhere else. Roy Harper. Yes, someone mentioned in the comments they felt that he was an overlooked, and he is historically overlooked. I have several Roy Harpers. Here's some. Jugular. Roy Harper with Jimmy Page. And Jimmy Page and the members of Led Zeppelin played on several Roy Harper albums. And you guys know that on Have a Cigar by Pink Floyd, that's Roy Harper. One more here. I always get the title of this one wrong. People talk about how they thought he was crazy. Flat Baroque and Berserk. He wasn't any more crazy than you or I. He just had the balls to be himself and to speak out. And that's what you get for being honest. Two more, because I do like what you consider folk or can be lumped in with singer-songwriter. I have so much more than what I'm showing, okay? I talked about Nick Drake recently, but I didn't show this one, Pink Moon. Okay? I know what I like. And of course, there's people who are much more knowledgeable than me about this music. Understandably so. Experts. And I can hear people or a person saying, well, you showed this, but what about this? And what about that? And what about this? And what about that? Well, you can do that to me. But chances are, 1 out of 3 whatabouts you would say, I already either know about or I just didn't show it. Music is my main interest and passion. And then, because it was right next to Roy Harper, Canadian folk rock, harmonium, okay? Yeah, we can go there, people. We can go there. Do I get an attitude? I sure do. Don't you? Sometimes about shit. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I ain't hurting nobody. Last thing I'll share this morning. I won't even bother you with my music. How's that? Okay. Last thing I'll show is because I was in the studio yesterday. I'm working on another new record. Besides what I'm doing with Blake and Cubby, I've got another set of music percolating. So when I was on break yesterday from writing and recording, I played most of this. 13th Floor Elevators, Easter Everywhere. These guys were killer. Definitely leaders of psychedelia. And this music really holds up. And I got this reissue. I used to have the International Artists box set. I've told the story before where I was bugged by a local collector who I finally sold it to. He cheated me, got it cheap out of me. Later, years later, he apologized when he admitted what he had done, not really thinking about his actions. The fact that he was, I'm not just some dumbass that you will run into me again and again because I'm part of the record community here. And as a result, he later made it up by giving me some deals on some stuff that I bought from him. The other thing I listened to last night before I went to bed was some of this, Porcupine Tree's Closure Continuation. And this is another example where I really like the music. Don't particularly care for Steven Wilson's voice. His voice is not as big as his music. It's not. And this record, this live record, I can hear it where it's like he is trying to step up to his own game vocally. The music is killer. His vocals are okay. They're not that strong. I love Steven Wilson's work, though. I do. I'm unhappy with how noisy this pressing is. Clear vinyl. And it's like, why did that have to happen? Why did they let it go through on such noisy vinyl or whatever the deal was? This is a 4-record set, and most of the records are noisy. Oh, well, I don't play it that much, but it's like, what the hell, But that's how I ended my night last night, was Porcupine Tree. I noticed in a couple of spots, Richard Barbieri, where he is playing things, was like insisting, hey, I'm part of this. This sound is Porcupine Tree. Turn that shit up. Okay, that's what I want to share today, all right? Hope everyone is okay. Always thinking about the world, even though it's like, do you ever think about that in a nerdy way? It's like, as we're living and experiencing life through our lens and our eyes and our senses, we assume, I think that most of us just assume that what I see is what they see is what's really out there, what the world is really like. When in fact, the only person that experiences reality the way that each person does is that person. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why I say, if you could remember that, then it would help you to realize, oh, that's just that person's experience when they say what they say. As long as they're not hurting me or causing harm, why should I be upset about what they think? It's when people use their thoughts to usurp others, to hurt, to dominate, whatever, That ain't cool. That's what I don't like about politics. And yeah, I will speak about politics when I want to. I know some of you folks think, keep it separate, don't talk about it. And then some people think I'm a jerk because of my views. And it's like, you're not me. I don't live with you. I don't need you even to tell me you don't like what I say, because you're not me. You don't live in this house. You don't even live on this block. So I don't care what you think. I really don't. What I want to know is, whether or not you like my music. And in general, I like people, But getting uptight about differences of opinion when we're just sharing thoughts is like, that's ridiculous. Don't hurt people. That's what I don't like. Don't hurt people. There's a lot of hurt going on because of what people say and their opinions. That's what I mean about politics. Okay, That's enough, people. Have a good day. Share your thoughts with me. If you say something shitty, I'm just going to block you and delete you. I know some of you are going to do it anyway because you're so fucking stupid. Bless you all. Take care.